This week on Devil's Trap Podcast, we've got the lineup coming this fall to the Supernatural Network, the newest game show, 6 Degrees of Heaven Bacon.
And catch our new dating reality show, Hungry for a Winchester.
Find your supernatural dream home on Zillow.
Oh, David.
And could you survive inside the world's toughest prison? Angel prison. Let's do this.
Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
I'm Liz, and I just realized that on camera, like the top of my bandana is like this little boink, like just like poking out, so it looks like I have like one horn growing out of the middle of my head. You know, if I had a horn, that is not the place I would choose to be coming out of the middle of my head. I mean, I would like symmetrical horns.
Yeah.
You know, that would be 2. I would like 2. Or 4, you know, like just symmetrical.
Yeah.
Or like an antler rack. I would take an antler rack.
Very pagan of you.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah. Diane and I did both just buy new horns this weekend.
Okay.
Currently, Peggy is wearing them, and we can send you pictures of Peggy in her horns and us in our horns. Oh, no, Diane, I posted that picture to our stories. So if you follow us on social media, you can find the picture of us on the sidewalk. I think you did.
I think I did. It's
Probably.
already cleared. I'll find it. Yes. I'll check. We have a
Diana's
picture of us in horns.
I don't follow our social media. I don't know what I did.
What? I posted stuff? Fuck, what did I post? Anyway.
And speaking of social media and just other fun things, so YouTube finally came out with some handles. So now, even though you bitches haven't been subscribing to our page, I'm still going to shame you, because that's how you get people to do things, I've learned, I think, is just through shame.
Is that what it is?
Right? That's how you motivate people?
Please go subscribe to our YouTube.
Go subscribe to our YouTube, and now you can easily find it because we have a handle. So at Devil's Trap Podcast is our YouTube handle. So go smash the like button and watch the things. They're fun stuff. We're funny people, and now they're even funnier. Like there's pictures and shit, and like sound effects and
multimedia experience.
It is. It's a multimedia experience. All copyright and legal. So, Diana, what have you been up to? What's going on? I feel like I just saw you because I did.
You did. Yeah, no, this past weekend, we went to see a concert in Dallas. Just a little band named Fear opened up for just another little guy named Alice Cooper.
I was like, are you making short people jokes already?
No short people jokes, not yet. But yeah, so it was and then the original lineup of the Misfits, kind of.
And now you can make a short person joke.
I'll insert all the Danzig jokes here. But yeah, so no, we got to see that concert in Dallas. I thought it was a really enjoyable show. Obviously all of these members of these bands are aging. Alice Cooper Alice Cooper was phenomenal though. That was like
so cool. Like
amazing.
He has a guillotine and his wife is awesome. There was far too many baby stuff for my comfort. Right. Not because I was offended. Like they're just gross. Like just
weird giant demon babies and stuff.
Stop carrying around the dead baby. I don't like it. But his costumes, outfits, whatever you want to call them, were fucking phenomenal. They were
the castle on stage.
He had a castle,
it was just great.
Which most of the bands did take advantage of to an extent, right? Well, I'm sure they planned this, and Fear with poor Lee Ving, who I just want to cradle in my arms and say, "Grandpapa, it's time. Like I know you enjoying yourself, but pop." We should stop now.
You don't have to be on the road anymore, Pop.
You're pretty cool. You did all the shit. We love living
in the city too, sir.
And my best friend does the best 6 degrees to leaving because he has been in so many movies and with so many things. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Amazing career.
you had an amazing career. It's time.
Yeah.
And we also saw some drama because Danzig was stormed off the stage and we don't know why. And we still don't know what happened.
We thought Jerry Only was going to have to sing. And then we were very relieved that Danzig came back on stage.
Yes. And everybody
but apparently
very
somebody
confused.
did a count. Apparently Jerry Only did smash 6 basses total throughout the show. So
that's a lot of money, man. A lot of kids could use those basses. There's a lot of trees that died for those.
I'm just saying.
Chill out, Jerry.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a really cool show to see.
And the people watching was phenomenal. It was high quality Halloween weekend people watching. Yeah. Winners of the costume contest would be Santa.
Yeah.
Because I think he misspelled Satan and he went with Santa.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite one besides Santa?
So the other one that was a standout was probably questionable in taste, but it was the boyfriend girlfriend that we knew with the JFK with the bullet wound in his head, and his significant other was Marilyn Monroe with her bottle of pills.
Yes, perhaps poor taste, but also, are they wrong?
I mean, it was well done.
And the other thing, though, like the Misfits did not have any merchandise that said Texas is the reason. Fuck you guys.
Waste of opportunity.
Waste. And, I want them to come back so we can just set up a trunk and, we'll have our own team trunk and sell, bootleg merchandise out of the back of the car. Like, my life is meant to end up. That's how we go, right? Like that's how we go.
Get busted selling bootleg merch.
Yeah, to sell bootleg merch on the back of it, and that's why we end up in prison. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it was a good time, great time. They got to wander around Bishop Arts a little bit, and and just getting back to Halloween. I dressed up and handed out candy to neighborhood kids. That was fun. One of the children would not come to the door. Well, so during the day, I was like a gothic cowgirl with giant horns. But then
gothic cowgirl,
I don't know. I just went with it. And then for the evening for candy distribution, I was a Twilight vampire. I had my red contacts. I was sparkly, and I had my my chrome fangs.
That you wish were gold.
Well, I was going to order gold ones, and I couldn't get them in time. But I liked the silver actually. So there we go.
Yeah. I did not dress up. I watched a marathon of I Survived on Vice, and it was fantastic. Okay. It's so good. And sometimes, you need true crime where people lived. Oh, if you've never watched the show, it's fantastic. And they usually do 3 stories. And it's survivors telling how they survived some traumatic ordeal, like women surviving sexual assault. There was a guy who was like in a tornado, like all sorts of things like that. And then I do wonder, like, because they have the 3 on there, at some point there's going to be somebody whose disaster was not as amazing as the other 2. And I could just see like that. Yeah, the dog chased me down the street. It was fine. It was terrifying. And then this woman's like, I survived being held down by, in Guantanamo Bay by like escaped prisoners or something. Like,
yeah.
And he was off the leash, and he was really aggressive. So that was my Halloween, along with the fantastic Halloween miracle that my Taco Bell has the Mexican pizza again.
Oh,
and
yes.
All is well.
Thanks to the Great Pumpkin.
Yes, thank you, Great Pumpkin, for bringing me the Mexican pizza for Halloween. Thank you. So that was that. Now I'm sad because I get seasonal depression disorder, and it's not because it's Christmas or like at dark outside. It's just because Halloween's over, and everyone just stops being as spooky as I am, which I guess is kind of better. Because then I get to be a spooky person.
It goes back to being, where you're a spooky person and not just a Halloween fan.
Right. So happy Halloween. Sorry, it's in the past, but always have one every day. # spooky all year. All right.
Spooky all year.
Let's
So,
talk, speaking of spooky,
yeah,
let's
season
talk
5, episode
supernatural.
13.
So, this is season 5, episode 13. The song remains the same. Now,
and if y'all hadn't caught yet, Liz hates time travel episodes. I'm just gonna say that before
because
we even
time travel is
jump
stupid.
in. I have some issues with this one.
I have many issues that we will get to. So, this episode, the song remains the same. The title is actually a song by Led Zeppelin. And that's from the Houses of Holy album. But also, oddly enough, Jensen was in an episode of Dawson's Creek that was also named The Song Remains the Same. Now, I did not watch Dawson. Did you watch Dawson?
Nope.
And now I have to go back and watch this episode of Dawson because I'm sure it's probably going to be awful and amazing at the same time. Other kind of nifty thing about this title, the original title was Back to the Future 2. And sometimes iTunes still lists it as that. So. This episode first aired February 4th, 2010. It was directed by Steve Boyum, and we last saw him direct the end, and was written by our favorite Sarah Gamble, assisted by Nancy Weiner or Weiner. I'll never learn how to say her name, and I forget what her new married name is too. Sorry, Nancy. But so those are the people who came up with this crap.
All right.
Yeah, and I think we have to start off really okay, did you I tried not to ruin episodes for Diana, but sometimes for the past couple of weeks I've just been like, it's stupid. And then once you saw the recap where you're just like, oh yeah, it's stupid.
I just saw the description, and I'm like, oh shit, this one's gonna be stupid. And I texted you immediately, you didn't tell me it was a time travel episode. Fucking time travel. Yeah. But I will say, up front, I think there was some important plot points driven in this one and character development, but I also think the time travel's stupid. There's other ways they could have done it. That's my quick overall summary before we even get into the show.
And it's really putting things fresh in my mind that I'm having to dissect between this and the Winchesters.
I wondered about that. Yeah.
And I also think I may have come to the conclusion that I'm going to stop watching the Winchesters for now. Oh. I don't know. I may wait and then watch at the end of the season and just do a binge, or maybe watch it fresh with Diana after we finish this. I don't know. Okay. We will figure that out as how hungry for Winchester I get. #hungry for Winchester.
Hungry for Winchester. All right. Yeah, so we start off this episode with Dean alone in a strip club with Cherry Pie by Warrant playing, and a very pretty woman in a devil costume dancing for him.
By dancing, you mean giving a lap dance, because dancing can mean many things, and that's she true. Was not doing the waltz or a modern dance interpretation.
That's fair.
She was bumping and grinding.
Correct.
And then, because the devil can't be alone.
No. Then he has an angel, also another attractive female dressed as an angel,
with
dancing.
A belly ring.
Yeah, well.
All angels have belly rings.
Of course. And the angel and devil are dancing together on/for Dean. And Dean says, now that's what I call peace on earth.
Yeah. Our douche meter right now is it's hitting on the it's popping over over and I know this is your brain, Dean, and I'm not gonna try not to shame you too much for your brain, but
Ew.
I will say though, your brain is very nicely decorated.
It is. It's very
Those
pretty room.
photographs on the wall were fan-fucking-tastic. I would love to be in the strip club. It's very clean. There is
Like a
there's
lovely establishment.
yeah, there was one photograph where it was just like this back with a corset, like a waist cincher on it, and then just like, oh, it was stunning. I'm like, yes, way to dress the strip club, Dean.
Well, then Anna's there though. Surprise!
Surprise. I'm here to ruin your boner or make it better.
Yeah, question mark. But it's so obviously she's visiting him in a dream. This is not really happening. This is in Dean's head. And she's visiting him because she can't find him in real world because of what Cass has done to hide them. But she's like, no, I've been in prison upstairs in heaven, and Cass has known this whole time because he's the one that turned me in, but I broke out. But you need to meet me because I need your help. And here's where to meet me right now.
And so Cass has been hiding this information from Dean, which is not good, Cass. Don't lie to your boyfriend.
Nice.
And then also, I can't help but wonder, what is Angel Prison like? Because she says they're torturing her and things. Like, well, is it like that prison in Bali, Hotel K, where prisoners kind of like run the show? Or is it more like a Dallas COC? Like, I want to see,
I don't know. I mean,
the
Angels
Locked
are
Up
dicks.
Abroad Angel Prison. Can we have that show?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't trust them. We all know that angels are dicks from this by now, so
We do. So, but there's who's lying? Obviously, there's something going on here. And then Dean wakes up, and we're going to transition immediately to Diana's favorite location.
Yes, they found another abandoned industrial park.
They did. Ta-da!
Shocked. Completely shocked that this is the setting. Yeah. But Anna's there, and instead of Dean showing up to meet her, it's Cass. So yeah, because he does not trust Anna. And he's like, look, if you're out, it's not because you actually broke out. It means you were let out for a fucking reason. And I don't trust this shit. And she's like, no, it's not true. She's like, but she has a knife. And it's not a knife to kill angels. It's a knife to kill people.
And then, because it's not a knife, we actually get Cass doing sort of a Crocodile Dundee version of "That's not a knife, this is a knife," where he just like, "Oh look, that's a tiny blade. This is a knife," and like pulls out his angel blade, and which is a very much, I think, skid away. I know you slept with Dean, and I'm very mad about this. I also know that you're just not telling me something.
Yeah, and so Anna busts out with Sam Winchester has to die.
Scene.
Wait, what? No, she's like, he's Lucifer's vessel, and he's the only vessel that matters. This other guy doesn't count because he's falling apart. And basically, if everything ends, if we end Sam, the whole plan falls apart, and we win in the end.
And she also says there's gonna be no fight with no fight with Michael, and also no Croatoan virus. How does Anna know about the Croatoan virus, like being a thing that's going to happen, if that was just
future.
a thing
That's
that
weird.
was in Dean's head and Dean hasn't seen Anna?
I don't know.
Riddle me that, Winchester.
That's a good question. Because that would be in the future. That's crazy. So
Problem number one with time travel is stupid.
Yes. But she's like, but then she has to go on this whole thing about how this way Lucifer can't put Sam back together because she'll scatter his cells across the universe. I don't know. But anyways, Cassiel's like, nope, there gotta be another way. Sam's my friend. And, that's, if you come near Sam, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, and she does dig into him too, being like, y'all are trying all this shit, right? You've got this cult, that's not working. How is the search for God working out, Cass? Like, you still haven't found him. And I do like this very protective sense that Cass is getting, and he's just like, you can't come near my boy. And now Sam is one of his boys too.
Yes. And so she's gonna angel boop out herself, And then we cut to a hippie couple making out in a fiber Trans Am. The Creeper by Molly Hatchet is playing, funny enough. And Anna falls out of the sky
And
onto the
they're
hood.
smoking the devil's lettuce too. They're
Oh.
also, this is like, it was like, oh, what an adorable makeout. You're getting high. You got some Molly Hatchet on. You're in this kick-ass Firebird. Like, oh, that's heaven until some dumb bitch falls out of the sky and ruins your hood. Get off
and we
Phoenix.
know that, and other than all of the cliche, potentially 70s items we are seeing just in the people, we also have a giant billboard for the movie Grease behind them.
Just so we're clear.
Yeah. And anyways, but the couple jumps out of the car. They're like, we got to take her to the hospital because this lady just landed on our car.
Yep. And they're completely sober now. Nothing completely thanks for ruining my buzz and my boner.
All in one.
All in one. Thanks, Anna. So we cut back though, and we're back in the motel where Cass is just crafting on a table. He's got his little, or he's like cooking and then doing some drawings of like, almost like he's making a charcuterie board. And he's like, this is where, my cheese is going to go. But
and then Dean's kind of questioning Castiel though about this whole thing because Castiel's told them what Anna's plan is, and Sam's like, maybe Anna has a point, and Castiel's like, no, but we just need to find and kill her first. So
I
he
don't
decides to start a
understand the
ritual.
reference that Dean makes though, because Dean says that Anna's going all Glenn Close, and so I'm not sure how that is an apt metaphor.
I thought it was forced, but what was she?
Well, because Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction, I know this because of the Corey Feldman pimple incident, that he has an affair on his wife with someone he works with. Then to get back at him, she boils, and then he wants to get back to his wife, but she's all crazy, and she boils the bunny, and then she ends up trying to kill the wife. But so I don't understand how any of that
he's just making a bad crazy. He's making a bad murderous woman reference. That's all it is.
Right. But it becomes into this thing because Cass is just like, I don't get that reference.
Yeah.
And so it's going into this what Cass doesn't understand and what he does. And then Dean also says he uses the gank word, so we've got a gank here. Blah. And then Cass is just like, look, she's like you said, she's not gonna give up until Sam's dead. And so he's like, I'm gonna do a spell. And then he just starts naming cryptocurrencies. Zod.
And sparkly fire. But it's not where Anna is, it's when. She's in 1978. And so the plan is to kill their parents, John and Mary, so that she can't, and since she can't get to Sam, that's her workaround.
And Dean's just like, yo, we gotta go now. Our parents are in trouble. We gotta go. And Cass is like, I don't have the juice. And then Dean's like a DeLorean without the plutonium. But again, he's like, that's a reference. I don't understand.
That one made more sense.
But that one makes sense. That one makes total sense. He is like a DeLorean without enough plutonium. Got it. Spot on.
Is that our first car reference? There's a lot of cars in this episode.
There's a lot of cars. Well, technically, we already had the Trans Am or Firebird.
That's true. We got the Firebird, and then we've got a DeLorean reference. There we go. All right. So, Castiel's like, yeah, taking a trip is hard enough on its own for time travel, but taking it with passengers is just really going to weaken me. But Dean's like, nah, sorry, we got to try. Let's do this.
Let's pack
Suit up.
So, what do we got to take? Well, we got to take our hipster olive oil, because we can't go anywhere with that. And then, Sam, you also got to make sure to bend your knees. He didn't warn him about the pooping, though. So, I mean, you should have been like, hey, here's some, fiber.
Fiber? Oh, yeah.
Did I see? I was in the health food section of the grocery store this week, and there was corn husk or something, corn things, and the air, and there's just it is a colon cleanser, and I was like, no shit, man, that's lots of shit, man. That's a colon scraper. So maybe Sam should have gotten that to mix in with the olive oil, but boop.
and they appear in the middle of the street. And they you see immediately a two-tone 1958 Chevy Impala. Well, I'll get some of the car. I won't go down the car, but they almost get hit by a car. We'll talk about cars later. They almost get hit by a car right away. And there's just some really interesting. You can tell that they are not in the modern times by the vehicles very easily in this scene. And so
this is actually how Dean uses, and we can keep this car reference over now. So another car reference here. That is how Dean judges time. He is like, there's Pinto, and that's not being brought back into production. No, it is not.
No, it is not. So, but it's just Sam and Dean. So they have to look for Cast, and Castiel is on the ground behind a car with a bloody nose.
Oh, I thought
and
he was
spitting
puking
up
up the blood. Yeah, okay. So just blood.
Well, first he's got the bloody
out.
nose, then he starts.
Yeah, there's blood out of all the orifices that we can see.
But apparently, he says that he's better than he expected, which is concerning because I don't think he fully communicated the risks here. But they put him up in the honeymoon suite at a hotel for 5 nights and put a "Do Not Disturb" sign on the room.
And Dean's like loving this place because, so Sam's loving the place because of all the mustaches. And thank Satan that I don't think Jared Padalecki's ever tried to grow a mustache. Ugh. Don't do that, dude. But Dean is like enthralled with the hotel manager who was just like, don't worry about it. Do you want to buy some dope?
Yes. He was very excited they got offered to buy dope. Specifically because the word dope.
We would also be very excited. I would be excited probably for a different reason.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't think I know anybody that uses that to reference marijuana. And I'd be like, wait, are they selling fucking heroin? What the fuck? Like,
in the 60s would likely have been marijuana.
I know. 60s and 70s, it definitely would have been marijuana. But I believe in like the 90s and aughts forward, people started using
by now,
it.
If I say dope, I mean smack. But
yeah. So, all right. So Sam's, Dean's like, well, shit, if we stick around here, I guess we're going to buy some stock in Microsoft, which is funny. But Sam's like really concerned about how Castiel is. And we get another throwback TV reference because Dean says that he's not Dr. Angel Medicine Woman.
Oh, and we get a better throwback reference, just the fact that Sam was able to find their address in the phone book. And I kind of miss being able to stalk people that way. You know, like if you had a boy you had a crush on, like you could get like going like, oh, there's his phone number and like the phone book and that's where he lives. And like now you can't do that, but I guess you can just be like, I'll just like Skype him or like stalk his Instagram. But it's not the same as like being able to like go sit outside someone's house or something, you know, like
because that's not creepy.
I said stalking.
But we also,
like, what is stalking?
We also called people on the phone at one point in time too, which is.
I don't want to talk to anybody on the phone. But yeah, so there. But we have found them. The Winchesters are in the white pages, and we're gonna go up to their adorable little house.
Super cute little house. And Sam just wants to barge right in, and Dean's like, not a bad plan. Last time she saw me, I was the hunter who left right when her dad died. This is not probably
she don't
great.
Like me. No.
So we see Mary and John in the kitchen. They're cooking dinner,
looking all young cute. And hot.
Yeah, being adorbs. And the doorbell rings, and it's Dean with Sam. But Mary answers by herself at first, and she's like, "You can't be here. I don't do that anymore. I have a normal life now. Bye-bye." But before she can close the door on him, John walks up and is all excited and to meet who's at the door. And Dean claims to be Mary's cousins coming through town. And they just had to stop and say hi. And there's kind of a weird exchange with John and Dean because they had met before where he's like, "You look familiar." And Dean's like, just kind of plays it off.
In a good way. And he's playing it off a lot better than Sam is.
Sam is embarrassing himself and making it reil awkward.
I would not have invited him in my house.
It was super creepy.
Cousins. Like, nah. Okay, I see why I don't meet your family that much. Cool. Yeah. Bye-bye. He's
like, freezes up, can't introduce himself, can't, shakes hands like and won't let go of John's hand. He's tearing up. It's just bizarre.
At least he does like his cover up. He's like, it's been a long trip. And at least that kind of covers like for the zoning out, but not for the next scene, after John invites him in for a beer and Sam's just sitting on the couch. I fucking his mom.
Yeah.
Like this is an uncomfortable way and amount of staring.
It was weird. Too much. I'm going to call it too much. I don't like the way that was written.
It's gross, Sam. And it was too much for John, who was just like, what's up, man?
Yeah. And he's like, it's just that Mary is so beautiful.
That's not helping.
No, not helpful at all. Stop. So Dean tries to play it all off and say that she looks like a family member, but anyways,
that works, right? Cousin, you're the spitting image of my mom. And then later on when he's like, my mom's dead, then I'm sure John's like, okay, that checks out. Weird. Not a lot though.
It's still weird. But Dean also continues to tie in the family and says that Mary's dad was like a grandpa to us.
Her.
But yeah. And Mary's still trying to get them out the door, but John's like, nope, I want to get to know them. I don't get to meet your family. We're hanging out. But they're interrupted by a phone call, and John has to run out of the room, and it's Mr. Woodson telling him, and he's begging Mr. Woodson to reconsider firing him. But he's like, look, maybe we can smooth it over. I'll meet me in 10 minutes at the shop. But it's not Mr. Woodson. It's Anna. No.
And it's just also just really weird to see her speaking with a deep man's voice. It's weird. It's so weird.
It's funny.
All right, so Mary just like wants them to leave them alone because the last time, as Dean said, she saw them, a demon killed my dad. Yeet, bitches, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna get the "you in danger, girl" speech.
You in danger, girl. But she's guessing what it is. Demon. And they're like, no, it's an angel. And she's like, there's no such thing. He's like, I wish. They're twice as strong as demons and bigger dicks. I was amused by.
And we got to go. They're coming for you. You in danger. And they're like, where's John? Oh, shit.
Yeah, she finally believes them. Finally is going to go along with it. And then they realize that John left. He wrote a little note by the phone. Do you remember having a notepad by the phone?
Oh, the notepad. Well, I mean, I still have. I have notepads by like my computers and stuff now. But
like the notepad by the landline, like I remember that.
So and then we come back. I'm like, were there any messages for me? No, nobody has called you. But so John has left to go to his garage, where he's a mechanic. Pretty garage. And it's something that is just like, if you've seen the new Winchesters, you know why I'm going right now. Anyways, but John can't find his boss.
Because he dead on the floor with his eyes burned out.
And that is something the actress playing Anna said was like really like one of the harder things. Well, just like she was so gross, like the eyes, like they made the eyes really like burnt out, and it was like this corpse on the floor looking like that. And I could see that being unsettling.
Yeah. But then Anna's there behind John, and she flings him across the room. Angel fling. But she's having like a bloody nose and kind of like blurry vision thing go down. Because maybe her juice might not be as good either from upstairs. Who knows?
Well, but John also, because she was cut off from heaven. Like if Cass was cut off from heaven, then she definitely, if she was, locked up in prison, like she must have been. So it has to be the same.
Yeah.
But she's not, not so weak that she can't do it. Another angel fling. And John's trying to fight back, but luckily Dean shows up and he's about to stab Anna with the angel knife, but she angel flings him, and then Mary gets the angel knife and starts fighting, but she loses it, and John's watching this right when Anna's apologizing and throws Mary onto a car, and Mary's able to grab a crowbar and really stab Anna with it. Does it make you feel better that they were actually like a meter apart when that happened? Yeah? Okay.
Sure.
So, the angel fling happens like a lot in this. There's a lot of use of the angel fling it's fine. But that crowbar in the chest was pretty fucking brutal. I also really enjoyed how Mary handled the angel blade, though. Like, she picked it up and she was like, I'm not going to use it like a sword. And
she's ready.
And
very steaky.
She's very steaky. And why is it every time you mime looking like you have a steak, you look like you're jacking off? I don't know. So then badass Anna, though, because she's just like, oh, I got a crowbar in my chest.
I'm just going to pull this shit out because it's not that hard to kill an angel. Or I mean, it's not that easy to kill an angel. What the fuck? Just pulls it out. That's my reaction to
pull out to make Diana go. But Sam's just like, you know what, bitch? That was just a distraction. Sigil boom, boom.
Sigil boom, and she's bright light blasted away. And John is just shell-shocked by all of this, by the way.
And Mary just looks sad. She's just like, sad. But then we get this really great little scene, which I hate this episode, I think this scene is cute.
Okay. So we got John and Mary in the front seat of Baby, and Sam and Dean in the back seat. And John's like, monsters? Monsters? Monsters are real? And you fight them? All of you? And he's just like asking Mary questions like, how long? She's like, all my life. And our brothers try to say, look, she didn't really have a choice. But John just is like, no, everybody shut the fuck up, or I'm going to turn this car around.
And then they all get really quiet. And Dean says, wow, awkward family road trip. And I think this is why I think it's sweet, because the boys the Winchester family has not been like this since Sam was a baby, like having all of them in a car, a dad getting mad. Hopefully John wasn't yelling at the baby, but we all know John Winchester was a terrible father and was probably yelling at the baby. So probably. So, but it's really sweet that they got to, like, no matter what happens in this, like, as long as Sam and Dean get to keep their memories, they'll remember getting this. So that's why I think it's sweet.
That's sweet. Look at you liking something sweet in this episode.
Even though it was
only enabled even though it was only enabled by time travel. So, all right, we've got they pull up to this old house, and Mary's like, yeah, my family owns this. There's devil's trap under the rug. It's stocked with salt, holy water.
No, you were not doing this correctly, because this family safe house, I need it. And this ramshackled fortress in the woods comes complete with devil trap floors, pure iron fixtures, and a butler's pantry stocked with all the holy water, salt, and knives that you could want. Since this lovely abandoned house is on the outskirts of Austin, it can be yours for probably, a couple million? Okay, wherever this house is. Like,
supernatural Zillow going on here.
Oh, Phil. God, someone give me a supernatural Zillow. Tell me all the haunted houses in the country, and then let me look at them in the map and figure out which ones I want to buy. Thank you. Tell me part of the athletes.
Well, our brothers sadly inform her that none of this is going to work against an angel. But don't worry, we brought party favors, because that's where they bust out their diagram of the sigil to write on the wall. They've got the whole their hipster holy oil ready to go, which works like a devil's trap for angels. And they're going to show Mary how it works. John looks real uncomfortable, but he's like, no, I'm going to participate in this shit. So tell me about the sigil. And Dean starts to explain what it is. Don's like, no, don't tell me about it. Where do I put it and how big? And Dean's still like, a wall or a door, but you have to do it in blood. And Don's like, okay. And like slices his hand open and does it.
Yeah. And which would have been really great if Dean had been like, here's some blood that I had in my bag for this occasion, or like, here's a syringe, like, slow down, cowboy, maybe you didn't have to slice your hand open
with a fucking Bowie knife. It's it's probably not clean because it's sitting in this old ass house.
Now you're gonna have to get a tetanus shot, you're getting a lockjaw, it's gonna get an infection. Yeah, so to slow your roll, and like, you could have just like, it was a very bam. Okay, you went there.
But it reminds Dean of his dad.
Aww.
What is his dad? What?
And then we
Time
get
travel.
some more crafting, and John's just finger painting on the wall with his blood, like you
Like you
do.
do. Yeah. And Sam goes to kind of apologize to John for being weird.
Well, first he
which
compliments
is
him on
weird.
his finger painting, which is just fucking weird. Like this whole scene, like, oh motherfucker, like go
This
ahead.
scene could just go away. Like I literally wrote, this is so weird. I don't like it. It's real fucking weird. I don't like this scene. I'm going to just do a quick summary of it because I don't even want to fucking talk about it. But this is where Sam works out his feelings about his dad, talking directly to a younger version of his dad before his dad's dad. It's fucking dumb and weird, and I don't like it. But basically, he says that, you know, John's like, well, talking about how it's terrible that any dad would raise their kids hunting because dads are supposed to protect them. But Sam defends what his dad's later choice was. And is basically like, look, no, he did his best in an impossible situation, and his love of his life was killed, and he had to do something. But I wanted to know that I would always want to tell him that I understand why he did what he did, and I forgive him and love him. Blah.
So
how is that closure when this is selfish closure for Sam?
But this is as close to therapy as you're gonna get, right? Like if I was a therapist, I'd probably, hey, go back in time travel and talk to your younger dad and say all the things you couldn't say to your dad because he died. I mean, that's one way to work your shit out. But
it's
also,
not. But it's not doing anything to dad. It's like
well, no,
this
man is also a virtual stranger. So you have just like dumped a whole bunch of shit on this guy that you just met like 2 hours ago, and that's a little weird. Personal, man. Like
it's weird. I don't like
TMI.
it.
TMI. Back up a little bit.
A lot. Anyways.
A lot. So, in order to get us out of this whatever fucking situation that was, Uriel flaps in.
Yeah,
and I kind of like this cereal. I like this cereal better than I like the other Uriel, just because maybe I'm being ageist. I don't know, but he's just like, I like 70s cereal because he's just cool with 70s cereal. He's just suave and just like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we've got 70s Uriel here, and he's like, WTF, we've got orders not to go down to Earth at all, much less take a vessel. But oh shit, I just realized you're not the Anna that I usually know. So you must be from the future or some shit. She's like, fuck yeah, I am. We're going to go kill some humans that are going to kill you in 30 years.
And he's like, fuck yeah, let's go get our smite on. And so he was like, I love to do some smiting on a Thursday. So he ready. So and Mary's got the hipster jug, and she's just like, where do you even find this oil? And it's been sold out on Gelt for like weeks, and I've been trying to find it. But she's like, okay, cool, I've got the hipster oil. And she's like, all right, Dean, like, we got the time. Fuck, you said, fucking tell me what's going on.
Why do angels want me dead? This is fucking weird. And it's because she's like, she didn't even believe in angels a minute ago, and now one wants her dead. And he's like, because they're dicks. She's like, not good enough. But she threatens to leave, and then Dean does something very risky. And I think this is where we get into a risk of a paradox, but that's a whole thing, not being an actual expert on time travel, just having been enough of a sci-fi fan. I think we're hitting paradox points here. But Dean says, I'm your son.
You also clearly haven't watched all the new multiverse movies, have you? Like, that has like the different explanations of like what happens with the paradox, and then there's all these other things now because time travel is stupid.
No, I have not watched all of them. So he's like, look, we're from 2010. We were zapped here by a friendly angel, but obviously, we're named after your parents. You made me this soup as a kid. And you sang me Hey Jude instead of a lullaby. And she's like crying, but because none of this has happened for her yet. Right. But then she's upset though, because that she would have raised her kids to be hunters. And he's like, oh, no, you didn't. You did.
You're fine. It's fine. You didn't. It's not on you. It's not on you. It's on John.
I was all on John.
John got he got a little shitty. Like,
Yi kills you, and then John's pissed, so he makes us hunters with him because he's on a revenge mission for the rest of his fucking life.
Yeah, that's all good to tell her. Like, did you have to go that okay, cool. So she's processing, and then he is like, oh, we're gonna do some Back to the Future 2 shit, and I'm gonna give you the exact date and time, and you on that day, like, you can't don't go. You get Sam and run. You take Sam and run.
Yeah, don't go in the bed. Don't go in the bedroom. You just gotta take him and run, if anything. But Sam walks in because remember, Sam still has a little bit more insight on like the demon blood children stuff that I don't think he ever shared with Dean. If I recall correctly, he didn't share all of that. But Sam's like, no, that's not it. This is the only way out here is if she leaves John. Then Sam and Dean are never born because otherwise the demon will always find Mary / and Sam if Sam is with her. So yeah, the only way is for Sam and Dean to never have been born because dying is worse than having never been born, but then she can have her normal life. So how the fuck, if they went back in time to tell her this and then they were never born, then she would never know to... That's where my brain broke.
So if you go by the timeline that is in Avengers Age of Ultron, I think, that like the thing that was created like is still there. But also I think Dean's saying like we just would disappear, right? And we're okay with not being born. And this would we would Michael J. Fox it away. Like we would just start,
But she never would have been told this, so she wouldn't know to not. I don't buy it.
I don't know. Time travel is stupid. Okay, now my brain hurts a lot. So.
But she said that, but it doesn't matter because she can't leave John because she's already pregnant with Dean.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right. So now we don't have to worry about that part. All right. So it's too late. But then also I wrote Dean is inside her already, and now that grossed me out.
Ew. Well, John walks in and something's happening to their sigils and they're like smudging off the wall. The oil's gone, which these are things I've never seen happen. So I don't really understand.
Do you know how much that holy oil costs a quart? And you
very
just like
expensive
took it
to
right
import
off the
from that farmer's market in Jerusalem. You have to import that shit. It's a pain in the ass.
But then lights start flickering, which is not a good sign. And then just like the way my ears sound like every other day happens. Probably should see a doctor, whatever. I've shot a lot of guns and seen a lot of punk rock.
I think it's very like tinnitus. Is that the word?
Yeah. So just everyone gets tinnitus. And then here flaps in Uriel and Anna. I don't know why I almost called her Ariel because I saw Anna in it.
Uriel and Uriel and Anna flap in, and Dean's ready to fight Uriel, and Sam goes to fight Anna, and we get a fight scene. Wow! And
angel flings everywhere.
Lots of angel flinging happening, and John's gonna try to grab a dropped angel blade, but he gets flung through the window outside, landing well away from the building. But Sam goes for the blade, but Anna stabs him like real bad with a pipe she ripped out of the wall. It was a very bizarre scene. At first I'm like, did she just stab him with a wall sconce? But I think it was a pipe that she pulled out of the wall.
It does look like she stabs him with the wall sconce. And then also when I said, she was like a meter away when they did the crowbar, when they did the crowbar thing. Here, she actually, like, she didn't stab Jared Padalecki, obviously, but, like, he did get hit with something, and she had, like, this big heavy pad on. So, and then you had to deal with, I had to, like, hit my coworker. Oh, but that made me nice, man. Like, why can't we hit her? I'd like to hit some of my coworkers. That'd be fun.
Well, yeah. So, but Sam's on the ground, he's bleeding from the mouth, and it does not look good. This is bad. But we've got a light shining on John laying in the grass outside. So, but while this is all going on, Anna apologizes to Mary again. And then all of a sudden, because she's about to kill Mary, that's her thing, is she's apologizing to her before she kills her, which is a weird flex. She's done that before already too. But then John is standing there and just says, Anna, but it's not John's voice. What? Michael? Oh, shit.
Oh.
Michael is in John's meat suit. This is so confusing.
All right. So we got Michael and John.
Michael in John's meat suit. And
that's not better, Diana. Like Michael in John's meat suit is not a better way to phrase that. So, but at this point, I think we have to talk about Michael. So, as much as I want to, we're gonna have some lore.
All right.
And today's lore is about Michael, because I don't think people probably, if you're not religious, know as much about him and his backstory as you would say Lucifer, who is a more common pop culture thing. And we get this trope that's being built here about Michael versus Lucifer. And so I think some of that backstory is going to be helpful as we're going through this, starting now that we actually have a Michael, right?
Yeah.
And most of this research is coming from Rosemary Ellen Gooley. Apologize to her soul because she's dead. She just died like unexpectedly a couple years ago. Fucking badass bitch. Wrote lots of good stuff. But so most of this comes from her book because it was really good, and that makes me be a lazy researcher. I did find that book at Half Price Books in Austin, the Encyclopedia of Angels. Highly recommend it if you want to read some angel lore. So, but no matter what flavor of Christianity that you pick, Michael the Angel probably has some meaning in it. And he does pop up in the rest of the major Western theological religions lore. So like, the Hebrew and Islamic lore, he in there too. He's pretty much, one who's going to be talked about in almost everything. The first time that he actually showed up was in the writings of the Book of Enoch, and that was in the 3rd century BC. So, back before Jesus thing, in the Book of Enoch is a Jewish apocalypse. And I think I've mentioned this definition before, but just in case you forgot, an apocalypse means any number of anonymous Jewish or Christian texts from around the 2nd century BC to the 2nd century AD. And they contain prophecies and symbolic visions of the imminent destruction of the world and salvation of the righteous. But this is a lot of where we get definitions of angels, because angels actually aren't in the Bible so much, but also these books could have been a part of the Bible. They're just ones that they were like, yeah, this one we won't put in King James, right? So still funneling a lot of this from the same place. He is one of the few angels that are mentioned by name in the Bible, and in particular, he is spoken of this in this passage in Revelation, which is Revelation 12:7-9. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and the angels with him. Which I think Supernatural lost out a lot in this dragon metaphor. Like, if Michael would show up as like a dragon, fuck, man, that would be fucking awesome, right?
Yeah. Super awesome.
But I think this is a lot of the reason that we associate Michael with this idea of when Lucifer was cast out of heaven, that Michael was there and he was part of that original fight. Because a lot of people say that the original wars in heaven were a mirror to what happens in Revelation. That as it was the beginning, it was the end. So if Michael and Lucifer are going to fight in the end, or Satan, because that wasn't actually Lucifer, that was Satan, but that they did that in the beginning too, right? So that may be where some of this idea for the storyline comes from, and why it's kind of accepted into a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
So anywho, also like that idea of, that battle being and Satan being cast out of heaven, that's not really in the Bible. Like there's a couple of lines that sort of allude to it, but that, anyways, another story, another day. So in Hebrew, Michael's name means who is like God, or who as God. So obviously that makes, stands up as like a very important persona, right?
Right.
And he has a lot of hats to wear and a lot of jobs to do. And his roles...
He has a lot of hats?
He does. He has a lot of hats. Some of them are fancy. Some of them are horns. Some of them are sombreros. Some maybe they're Stetson hats. Maybe Diana bedazzled some. We don't know. But his roles include that of warrior, obviously, and the leader of God's army. So he's the major general of God's army, protector, especially of Christians, and a healer sometimes a guardian angel. He is the patron of soldiers, doctors, mariners, paratroopers, police, sickness, and grocers, because grocers also need a patron. So...
Huh.
Yeah, so grocers, if you work at HEB, Michael's your dude. All right. He is also chief of the archangels, and all angels just in general bow down before him in obedience. So pretty much whatever Michael says, everybody jumps to and does. Which seems to be a kind of like an angel dick theme overall, but really like he is like, I am the ultimate dick, right? He does wage a ceaseless war against Satan, and sometimes Satan trembles at the mention of his name. So we know they already have like this big beef.
Sibling rivalry is real.
Sibling rivalry is real. He is also the guardian angel of the Hebrew nation. Not sure if that includes the Hebrew national hot dogs, but at least Hebrew nation is there. And people like have really like gotten to Michael for a while. They started building churches to him in the 5th century, and he had lots of devotional cults. So that his cults were so popular that a lot of the church was starting to get a little worried, because they're like, wait, are they worshiping Michael? Because that's what pagans do. Pagans worship multiple. So no, they can pray to him, but not... He's not a god. Oh shit. What did we do?
Yeah.
But so they got concerned about that and, did what they could. Not a lot. Also, they do believe within the Catholic Church that Michael sends prayers to God. So he's the one who's like it was like in computer terms, he's, part of that handshake, the send act, or he's like the mailman, right? So he's picking up your prayer and he's taking it to God. And in the church, that's symbolized by the smoke from the incense. So the incense is taking prayers to God. Why I was like smoking weed like in my car during that day of CCD. Like I had no idea that's why that incense was there.
Me either.
I always thought it was like you were like filling you with the Holy Spirit or just like giving you a headache.
Yeah, I thought it was more tied to the Holy Spirit because I just assumed.
And that shit gives me a fucking headache. But apparently it's taking prayers to God. Huh. Today I learned, right?
Yeah.
And also get this.
That's kind of cool symbolism, honestly. Go ahead.
It's a good symbolism. And, and sometimes I think it depends on which church you had, like what incense like was there. Like some incense is better. Like there's a restaurant in Dallas that we went to that was behind the Mayan one that was like, we're doing Aztec stuff. And that incense was very church-like, but like in a good way. Like I felt very comforted.
Shaman Cafe.
Yeah.
Behind their speakeasy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they have the good church incense, not the one that I'm just like, oh my head, please stop. Like this mask goes like as fast as you can. I think I also swung that thing a lot. I don't even remember what it was called because I was an altar girl. Fun fact.
I was too. I was an altar server. Yeah. Our churches were so progressive.
Progressive, right? Letting little girls do things. Mm-hmm. But also, I thought this is another fun fact.
See, I liked the incense at my church though.
See, I said it depends on the church. Like there are some churches I really like it, and other ones that were just kind of.
Or maybe it's just nostalgic too. You like it at this point. That's part of it too.
Yeah,
but we only really did it on like holidays.
I only see it now in like the really big masses or during funerals. It happens a lot. Like,
mm-hmm.
So that makes sense because like if the last funeral I was at a few months ago, where they were doing the incense over. Well, I think he was in an urn, but. I think that's supposed to take the soul up or something. Okay. I don't know. Or prayers.
Makes sense if it's a messenger of some kind. Yeah, that makes sense. Or sending the message that. Yeah. I don't know. Interesting though. Go ahead.
Interesting.
Sorry.
All right. The other interesting thing is that the prayer, like the like the song, or like the one that is like, this is the prayer you make to Saint Michael, right?
Yeah.
That is actually a condensed form of the general exorcism that's used against Satan and evil spirits that was composed by Pope Leo VIII. So, like, you can actually exorcise some demons with the prayer to Saint Michael. And you can't do like the big demons, but like little demons. And little demons, you can say the prayer to Saint Michael, and that will take the demons away, which is also why I'm wearing my I Love Exercising shirt tonight. Okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah, a couple other things. So real quick, he is a psychopomp to the dead. I just love saying the word psychopomp.
I was saying you want to say psychopomp.
Doesn't
Like,
everybody want to?
didn't our friends have that hairstyle?
Yes, we had many friends with psychopomps. I believe I also kind of have a psychopomp right now. But so a psychopomp, if you need to remember, they guide the souls of the dead on their journey. So that could be like, if you are in the Greek world, that's, Hades, not Hades, but if you're on the river Styx, somebody is guiding you. I don't remember who guides you there, but that idea, right? Yeah. So he also guides the gates to purgatory, and he takes the souls from purgatory to heaven. Like, he's fucking busy. He also, like, on top of that, he even has some healing duties. So sometimes, like, he has to, like, heal people, and he has caused some healing streams. I just like saying healing streams because it sounds like pee, but really, like, they're just like rivers or things that you could go in, and like you got into it, and then he would heal you. He wasn't peeing on you to heal you. That would be a way, though. Like, I guess, like, would he have a
maybe
healing
he peed
stream?
in the water?
So if Michael John pees on Sam, is that how he heals them? It's like a jellyfish thing, which, by the way, does not work. Do not pee on people's feet. That does not work. That's someone just peeing on your foot, by the way. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right.
I thought that worked. It's like the BA.
No, it's not. No, it is not. It's a myth. It's a myth. Don't do that. Okay. And so it's gonna prove me wrong.
Convinced.
I swear. I'm not gonna. Okay. That's Diana's takeaway. It's like, I'm not sure which is. You're not supposed to pee on something. Is it a snake bite? I don't know. Like, don't suck the snake bite out. One of them's a myth. All right. So the last thing I will leave you with about Michael before we go back to John Michael, whatever. The angel Michael has been known to make apparitions around the world, just like most Catholic beings or Christian beings. Sometimes they get bored, right? Yeah. Like, he's got a lot of shit to do. Sometimes he's got to check out, right? Yeah. So in Spain in 1455, he popped up on a holm oak tree and a rock rose plant, which is a type of shrub. Now, I don't know if he appeared on both at the same time, or if he was just like on the shrub, and then he was like, because he was appearing to this guy, right? This guy named Miguel. And so I don't know if he's like Miguel is walking, and then Michael is just like, hey, I'm over here. I'm on the shrub. Shit, I passed you past the shrub. Now I'm on the tree. So he stops, and he's like, hey, Miguel, don't be afraid. Just do it on a tree. It's normal. But I need a shrine. Miguel's like, okay. And he's like, I need a shrine. And he's like, all right. And he's like, look, we need one here. I need it to honor like me and the angelic messengers. And Miguel's like, I'm just a shepherd. Nobody listens to me. I'm just a shepherd, man. And nobody's gonna believe me if I go into town and I'm like, this tree told me we gotta build a shrine to Michael. And he is like, I'll tell you what, they're not gonna think you're crazy. In order to make them believe me, I'm going to put my handprint on this tree. So he puts his hand on the tree. And he said, they have to believe you now. Miguel's like, okay. And I'm going to do it. And he's like, I'm not fucking doing that. There's a print on the sky was talking to me a tree. And so he goes back to town. And he just
must have eaten some bad paella or something.
He's
hallucinating.
I'm hallucinating. Like, something's going on. So he does not tell his boss that he saw Michael in a tree. And a few days pass, and he's crippled. And so the reason that I like this is because this is how he was inflicted. His legs were folded so that, quote, the back of his calves touched his thighs and his heels touched his buttocks. So like a quad stretch. So he got put into a quad stretch. And that was his punishment, right? So he's in a squat stretch with both legs, and he can't undo it.
But you can't walk then.
You can't walk. You can't walk on your knees. No, it's a lot. You can't also having both of them at the same time. Like that's like going to like a camel yoga pose. Like it's all sorts of things.
Unpleasant.
So yeah,
Like you can't really lay down. Like that's just unpleasant.
Yeah. So his boss, Mr. Pedro Garcia de Ayuso, sorry, I butchered that name, but whatever, he did. So he comes up and he tries to heal him with herbs and oils, but sadly, that doesn't fix his quad stretch problem. They're still there. His feet are still attached to his ass. And so Miguel is finally like, Mr. Boss.
He's got a heel ass fusion.
He's got a heel ass fusion. He's like, Mr. Boss, something happened to me. I met an angel and he said he needs a chapel. And they're like, okay, so let's go talk to the other important people in town. So he talks and they're like, okay. So they carry Miguel to the tree of the handprint and they said, yeah, clearly there's a hand here. Must have been an angel. So let's build him a chapel. And they did. And they had a mass for Miguel and he was cured. And then he became keeper of the shrine. I believe there is a hermitage there now. Like I tried to find it on a map. I think that still exists there. There's a hermitage. It's only open the day before the San Miguel festival. I couldn't tell if the tree was still there on Google Maps. I looked for trees, but I didn't see a handprint or anything.
Or is this just a really clever way for him to get people to believe him? Maybe he was just really flexible and he's like, nobody's gonna believe me.
But
so I'm gonna pretend to be afflicted.
But my takeaway, I want to be a keeper of the shrine. Like that's what I want to do. Like, but if he was just like, wait, now I had to stay here. Like I had a job. I'm a shepherd. I like wandered around with my sheep. Like fuck you, Michael. Like why do I have to do this rest of my life?
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe he was tired of wandering around with his sheep.
Sounds like a great
He had a
job.
boss. He wasn't the boss. Maybe he's the boss.
No,
of
he's the boss
shrine.
of the shrine. Boss of the shrine.
Shrine boss.
Shrine boss. The Shriner. So thank you for coming on that journey. So I feel like we know a little bit more about Michael as a I don't want to say a trope, but historically. We know a little bit more about how Michael has been perceived historically, which I think influences some of the traits that we see, right? So that's Michael. He is clearly a very busy angel, which is perhaps why we did not see him until this point of the episode.
He's busy.
So let's get back to Michael now, right? So Michael's with Uriel, who is Uriel's just like...
Well, first, hold on.
Oh,
first, he decides to put his hand on Anna's shoulder.
Oh, sorry. I forgot that we hadn't burned Anna yet.
Yeah.
Burn Anna.
Burn Anna. Her eyeballs turn bright white, and then her face is on fire, and she burns up and crumbles to the ground.
It's rude.
Bye, Anna. And Uriel's like, whoa, bro, I didn't know what was going on here. And Michael's like,
my bad.
Too bad. Michael's like, and snaps his fingers, and Uriel's gone. Or like my notes say, you gone.
You gone.
Mary is pretty upset though, because she's like, what is happening to John? This is not okay. And so he awkwardly shushes her and then boops her on the side of the head and she falls out.
That shushing, man. That was that
condescending.
If you're a man or a woman or anybody, don't shush anybody like that. That is just awful. It's awful. And so Michael turns to Dean and says, we gotta talk. Which then you go, oh shit, this is definitely time travel, Michael.
Yes. So Michael's time traveled also. But Dean's like, no, we're not going to talk unless you fix Sam. And he's like, no. Michael's like, no, we're going to talk first. So,
and oh god, my notes look so bad right here.
Dean's just like, well, how did you get, Mike, how did you get John to say yes?
No, that is not what my notes say. My notes say, how did you get inside my father?
Oh. Well, apparently, though, Michael told John that he would save his wife's life. And so John said, yes, you can use my body. I didn't mean that. How do you say this without sounding... Never mind. Fuck it. It's just going to sound dirty. All right. So, but But Dean's confused, and so Michael
And
explains
we're
that
in the 70s, right? And so I think like
Yeah.
I'm like that was all like Debbie like swingery. Like you can use my body and you think I'm sexy.
so,
Okay, you
but
have
Dean,
to keep going because I can't see
yeah,
my notes because
Michael,
I'm crying
I
too
know.
much.
But Michael explains basically that Dean is his true vessel, but he's not the only vessel because the entire bloodline, for Dean's entire bloodline, all the way back to Cain and Abel, are all able to be Michael's vessels.
So that implication now is that the Winchester line are direct descendants of Cain and Abel.
Yeah.
Which are the children of Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
So they are descended. Well, I guess technically we should all be descended from the first.
Well, yeah, I mean, that'd be weird.
Technically, couldn't we all go back to Cain and Abel then?
Probably. But that's a whole thing.
Huh. Okay, never mind. I'm just going to move past that one. Alrighty. And Dean tells Michael to go get some therapy.
And he makes a reference to 6 degrees of heaven bacon.
Heaven bacon. Yum.
But like it's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, which also earlier this episode you referenced 6 degrees of leaving. So we've got to bring it back. There you go.
Yes, I also just really
I'm
want
terrible at
bacon
that
right
game,
now.
by the way. Huh? You want bacon now? Sorry. So, but Dean's like, yeah, no matter what, I'm not going to say yes to you. And if Michael, if you've got beef with your brother, you don't need to take it out on my planet. He's all about it. Michael's like, no, I don't really want this. Just like you trying to do like he tries to give the whole parallels between him and Dean, him and whatever his challenges with his father being God and his brother being Lucifer, with Dean with his father being John and brother being Sam. So they're just trying to do it like I don't want to do this, I just have to because it's the right thing to do and God told me to. And Dean, this is where it gets a little upsetting though. I don't like this. But Dean's like, I gotta believe that I can choose what I do with my unimportant little life. And Michael / John is like, wrong. There's had to be a million random acts of choices and, of chance, but they all bring you closer to your destiny. It's not random or chance. It's a plan playing out, and free will is an illusion. You'll say yes, and I won't leave you a drooling mess like my brothers would.
Yeah, so this goes into a very deep philosophical discussion of whether or not free will actually exists or if everything is fated. And then my head goes, just like it does in time travel. And I'm like, no. I'm like, stop it. You're hurting my brain.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Michael's going to scrub.
Monologuing a bunch.
Oh, he's a
so
lot.
We're just
and don't
like,
only
clearly,
villains monologue.
Exactly. So we know you're not a good guy because you're monologuing.
Yeah. But he's going to scrub John and Mary's brains. They won't remember any of this happened. He's not going to leave John a drooly mess like some people that are angel vessels are. And then she can have, she won't remember what happened, but, she can have the normal life that she wanted, but she's still going to walk into that nursery and it's just always going to play out that way.
Well, and one thing though, so she does get to have her normal life, at least until Sam is born. She gets a few years of it. So, I mean, this is the way it was supposed to be, right? So you can't interfere with the space-time continuum no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But meh. So nothing changes, and we all went back in time for fucking nothing.
Yeah. Well, except for to get this other little snippet in our first intro to Michael and let Sam have this awkward, probably
for story
not
exposition.
successful.
Yeah. So to move a story along, so we went back in time for a reason. But Sam and Dean and Cass have gone back in time for no reason at all.
Correct. So Michael does have a kind of funny, through John has a funny comment. He says that you can't fight City Hall, and then he boops Sam to send him home.
I have you in mine is this, because you can't fight City Hall, and then parentheses I have no, but you can set it on fire. So
that's called arson, Liz. Anyways, so yeah, we cut back to our motel. Dean is obviously upset, but Sam and Dean are there. And while Sam and Dean are in the motel getting ready to pour himself a cocktail, Castiel appears, and he is real wobbly and bloody nose again. And he comments that he's surprised that he made it at all.
He
So they
looks
kind of put
hungover as fuck.
it does not look good. So they put him down on the bed, and then they pour themselves drinks. And Dean says this is it. It's the end of free will. And neither of them are amused.
No, it's the team free will, right? So, and Dean's like really happy about like what their team is. And so the team is an ex-blood junkie, one dropout with $6 to his name, and Mr. Comatose. So team free will is looking kind of shitty.
Yeah, it's not looking good. And Sam's pointing out, though, that everybody keeps telling both of them that they'll end up saying yes, which is true. And
he's very concerned because he's been weak before, and you know that.
Well, and John said yes to save Mary. I mean,
and so that point is that we all have something that could drive us to say yes, right?
Correct. Yeah. And our closing episode or scene of this episode, though, we cut to the Winchester house. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there was the last thing though on that kind of like there was something that would all like make us say yes, and that's what Sam is pointing out to Dean, saying like if you could save Mom, like if that was that choice, like you could save her, would you say yes? And I think that's where Dean's like, fuck.
Yeah,
I've got something. Oh no. But then, okay, so now we're back to the very much more pregnant Mary.
Very Winchester, the Winchester house when Mary's very pregnant, and her and John, she's talking about something she bought for 25 cents at a garage sale, and she just liked it. She's not really sure why, but she just really likes
why.
No. And we get a look at it, and it is a little ceramic angel peering down off of the shelf, and yeah. And John leaves, and she gets baby Dean kicks in her belly, and she says, "Angels are watching over you."
And that he's already a little troublemaker. Well, but I don't like anything watching over me. Ew. Stop watching me, you creep. Get out of my room. I'm naked.
Yeah.
So normally at this time, before we go into our final wrap up about how we feel about this episode, we would jump to cast and couch. But because there were so few newbies in this episode, we're going to do something a little different. Oh yeah, we are. Diana, what are we going to do?
Casting cars.
Casting cars. It's the casting cars. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
New segment.
New segment. So Diana,
all right,
take us through all the sexy cars that they ruined in this episode, or that just appeared.
Yeah, so we already referenced the Firebird Trans Am, and I'd started to talk about a couple of the cars. The first things we see, the two scenes specifically, we see the majority of the cars in this episode is in the time hop, and then in the initial when we first do our time hop, and then in the garage. So the first car we see in the time hop is just a straight on shot. It's a two-tone 1958 Chevy Impala. It's just a really pretty car. So make sure that gets a shout out. But they almost get hit by a 77 Ford Pinto wagon with the wood panel, the sticker wood panels on it. Funny story. Babe had one of those in high school.
Oh.
Then we see them driving in the blue 1971 Chevelle SS. Funny enough, Babe sold the Pinto and bought a yellow 71 Chevelle SS. So there's our fun tie-ins for the day. Don't pay attention often. Babe is my husband and also does
our audio engineer.
He's our audio engineer. I say audio production, but yeah, that and a lot of the fun little songs and tidbits too in here. So, and then in the garage when we've got a great fight scene in the garage. The dented car is the hardest to identify, but it's a 1976 Buick four-door. They also see in this scene a 1966 Mustang Fastback, and Mary
The
gets
last of the good
thrown.
Mustangs.
It's a good, it is one of the good Mustangs, and then Mary gets thrown on top of a 1976 Chevy Caprice. There we go.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, cars.
We like them.
So yeah,
we like the cars that go boom. We are too.
I love that song. We like the boom. Yeah. So I wasn't as anti-time travel. I didn't think. Like, it always kind of annoyed me and was eye rolly. But like, I like the Back to the Future movies. Like, sure, they're cute. But like, no. Just no. I don't like it. Like, I don't mind a period piece. I don't like the time travel thing anymore. But it's weird because there's certain things that I read and I've watched and I do like it. I don't fucking know. Now I can't even put my finger on it.
I love this era, which is why I do love the New Winchesters is also taking place in the 70s, mainly because I like 70s fashion. Not on me particularly. I enjoy a good like bell bottom, and I really like I like a lot of the clothes and the cars.
Okay.
But
kind of 60s on that. I don't know.
It's also this kind of the idea of going back to kill baby Hitler. And so it's always that idea: what would change in the world? What would you do if you could just go back and kill baby Hitler? Would you fix things, right? So I don't like the idea of going back to kill babies, and I don't like killing babies in general, but specifically, I don't like it as a television plot point.
Yeah, it's got there's a lot of like, there you can talk about like butterfly effects and like 8 million other reasons why you're not supposed to fuck with the past. Not that we can, because it's fiction, but at the same time.
But then, weird. I mean, I do appreciate that the show cops out and fixes the problems with time travel by making people forget that it happened.
Yeah.
And that is certainly like a way to fix that. Like, okay, we don't have to worry about paradox, but did he fix like anybody else who may have accidentally run into them? Like, I don't know.
That guy freaking died. The guy that runs the shop is dead because Anna was there. Like, WTF.
What happened to all the people that comes out of Mr. Woodson's line with whatever the fuck his name is?
Yeah.
So that was our W.
And like, does as somebody who has not watched past this point, does John have a job now? I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, that doesn't work. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the new Winchesters, and like I was like, okay, well that could. Nope. I don't like it. This is but I do appreciate John. I love a young Mary. I think Mary is a badass character. I think she's a lot of fun. I think she makes sense as Dean and Sam's mom.
Yeah.
I like that we got to see more of why she chose what she was doing. So there are things that I think this episode has pithy moments and it's fun. And I'm also just very sad because I don't like that this is how Anna went.
No, it's a bummer.
Yeah, but also, I mean,
and I saw some things, some discussion online. Like, I mean, I was mad at Anna and angry and like, because I think that she's wrong. But the other, like, there's some stuff online because I was looking up something else, but I stumbled across it and talking about how she wasn't actually being evil in trying to do this. She was just seeing this as the path of least resistance to cause the least harm, but still accomplish the goal of stopping the apocalypse. Which I guess that is like arguably a misguided way to get there, but with the lowest body count potentially.
Well, that's the argument they do over and over here. Like, do we kill the little Antichrist boy? Do we kill like so and so? Like, you're still killing a person.
Yeah.
And
and so it's misguided and it's wrong, but there is a actual rationale behind it.
Well, it's the same thing. You can go back and kill baby Hitler. You will save millions of people from being killed during the Holocaust. You're still killing a baby.
Yeah.
And, it's, I don't know.
Who hasn't necessarily made a choice yet, and that didn't necessarily do anything to cause it. But then again, none of these people have made choices in this series because they are all just birthed into this, and they didn't make a choice to be the vessel or the chosen one or whatever.
What
they didn't
choose any of that shit. If anyone tells you you're the chosen one, you fucking run. You run away. It's a cult. All right. So
But yeah.
overall, still, I mean, on the bummer scale, we're not in Bumlandia. Like,
The free will stuff was heebie-jeebie brain pain.
well, and, you know, I think this was set up at the beginning of the season. And, you know, we talked about it, you know, I think at the end of last season of Team Free Will versus Team Destiny. And this is now we are smack in the middle of it. We are smack in the, you know, what is destined? What's free will?
Yeah.
Will Supernatural solve this problem that philosophers have debated for a millennium?
No.
Thanks, Eric Kripke. I hope you can. But if not, I think we're going to end this episode.
Yep.
Cheers, Shirt.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.